If you have a passion for spiritual living, and specifically living successfully in this world in a spiritual way, then I think you're going to love this video, because in this video we are going to talk about how to use the 3 primary energy centers, what it looks like when they're being used correctly and drawing you towards your purpose and your success, and what it looks like when those energy centers are being used incorrectly, because these will act as a guide to help you understand, am I following my purpose and achieving the real success that I'm here to achieve? My view is that when we are living our purpose, then what happens is all the things are attracted to us that are necessary to fulfill that purpose. And that is what's going to feel more successful for us than anything else. This isn't to say we don't attract money. We do attract money. This isn't to say we don't attract relationships. We do attract relationships, but we attract them all in the way that is best suited to execute our purpose, our reason for being here. And if you're like me, that is more important to you than any outside view of what success means. Real success is making sure you've gotten done what you came here to do. So let's start to explore that. As you can see, we've actually got 7 primary energy centers, the chakras. Now, I know we can argue that and say there are hundreds, depending on some views of minor energy centers. In human design, you might say we have 9 energy centers. Those discussions for another day. Right now, we're going to focus on the traditional 7 energy centers and understand why I'm saying that we have 3 main energy centers. These are the 3 brains I talk about in my philosophy. So how do these work together? I'm actually going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to read from you 3 paragraphs from my book, Game Manual. Now, this is sort of a tongue-in-cheek book about this virtual reality game that we're all playing inside of without realizing that we're in a game. And it's written as if by those who programmed the game. So it is the game manual for life. Now, even though it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek book, it is loaded with esoteric ideas and spiritual insights. And among those, how the 3 separate consciousness centers, the primary consciousness centers, the 3 brains, how we can have different consciousness flowing through us and still act as a single unit. Yes, feeling conflicts within ourselves because of this, but still operating as a single unit. So with that in mind, this is written as if from those who programmed the game. I'm just going to read this to you, and what you'll see is I'm going to explain as we go through this how these energy centers all connect. The astute reader will perceive the potential for a problem in this 3-code system. People run by 3 distinct programs, that is, this brain, and the gut brain, would experience conflicting instructions and would not be able to operate. To resolve this, our team blended the programs through 7 subprograms. This is the 7 chakras. The gut brain runs through subprograms 1 through 3. So you see, we have the main center here connecting all 3 of these. The heart brain runs through subprograms 3 through 5 and could likewise be considered one program running through 3. So you have a single program here incorporating 3 different centers, and you have one incorporating 3 centers here. So now we're starting to gather things. And finally, the head brain runs through subprograms 5 through 7. Again, 1 running through 3. And since the 3 subprograms make one brain, or one program, in each group, and yet they overlap, you see, you have an overlap that actually connects them. Yet they overlap. This allows the 3 brains to operate as one unit in spite of being 3 distinct programs. Genius, we know. Certainly, every avatar has perceived the conflicting codes, that is, the codes that are running through these three different centers, the consciousness, the influence that moves through us from those three different centers, often interpreted as an internal conflict between good and evil. But they are, after all, just conflicting codes, each with its pros and cons, stimulated at times by audience participation. Now, we're not talking about audience participation in today's video, but that's a whole other topic of how we are influenced from what we perceive to be outside ourselves. But now I hope this helps you to understand why we're talking about three primary energy centers when we talk about what it looks like when we're operating toward our success or away from our success. And so now let's move into that topic. So when we are operating in the incorrect way, the wrong way, we are going to first of all prioritize things from the gut to then the brain, up here to the head brain, and then to the heart. So it starts from our physicality. And so you will see this order reversed when we look at the right way. But when we're operating in the wrong way, the gut brain tends to hoard physical materials and physically dominate others, and it fears the loss of resources or control. It has a lot of fears associated with it. The physicality, this is why traumas live in us over time, is we hold on to it mechanically, and we continue to have fears about losing resources or control, really because of things that have happened in the past and got imprinted on us. The head brain tends to divide things into parts, and again, this is when it's used incorrectly. You're going to see that the head brain and intellect, the mind, the ideas, are not bad. They're a tool, everything with its pros and cons, everything with its right use and its wrong use. So the head brain tends to divide things into parts. It builds the ego. And so you see in children that we tend to get this from bragging. Children are bragging all the time. As they get older, they tend to find out that bragging doesn't work very well. And so through gossip, we tend to try diminishing other egos. So instead of going higher than somebody by bragging, we try to get higher than somebody by diminishing them. This is when the mind is not used well, and this is why the whole notion of gossip is so important. It is really a stealing of another's ego. And this is why when you get into spiritual living and a lot of the masters, what they talk about the importance of silence. And we all know the phrase, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. It's really a high spiritual theme, and it's something for us to all think about. The mind tends to manipulate others. It's all about building its ego at the expense of others. It also develops technology to bolster the gut goals, which also support the ego, because if you can develop technology to dominate others and to hoard physical materials, you're also boosting your own perceived value as yourself, as your individual ego. And it always has these desires about the next thing. It's not living in the present moment. It's always looking out to the next thing of what it wants to grab, And I see a lot of people in the spiritual community, especially around the theme of money, very desirous of getting more money and thinking that that is part of God's plan for them. It may be the part of the plan for you, but when that is the dominant, when the approach comes from getting the money and saying, well, that will help me fulfill my purpose, as opposed to money coming into your life because it's allowing you to fulfill your purpose, i.e. purpose comes first, then you have it in the wrong direction. When it is the money, I'm desirous of money because it will fulfill my purpose. It will allow me to fulfill my purpose. It's the wrong way. Okay. And finally, the heart brain, spirit, unity. This can be a very good thing But when the heart is in the wrong direction, we want to be super spiritual because, boy, the world is evil. We're prisoners here. We must escape. And so this whole idea of seeking to raise our energy and unite with Source, simply to disappear from the world. It's not living in this world. It's not transforming this world. It's trying to escape from the world. That is not the right use of the heart brain, because honestly, if you think about it, if the heart brain is spirit, is unity, it should be looking for connection, not disconnection and running away. So when you see any of these in yourself or others, and in others without judgment, in yourself without judgment, because judgment is part of the mind used in the wrong way, separating things. This is good, this is bad. Okay? That's something I don't believe in. I think that judgment is one of the biggest things that holds us back. I mean, Jesus said, judge not or you will be judged. And that really gets into karma. This is another thing that we'll talk about in other videos. But the natural response of the universe to bring back what has been sent out. So that judgment coming back on you. Rather, we can just sit in the moment and let all that go. And say, from right now, what can I do to live in the right way, to attract all the resources that will allow me to fulfill my purpose, because I am focused on purpose first. That is, what can I do to live my purpose, knowing that all of that will be pulled into my life. So this is what it looks like in the right way. First, the heart brain is the center. It connects all the others. If you went back and looked at those 3 areas, heart brain is at the center and actually connects all 3 and all 7 by being the center of them. This is the source of your purpose, and it is the attractive force. So when it's rightly used, it will attract everything needed to achieve your purpose. It stays in the present and at peace. It observes the world for what it is. It's not jumping in and judging, it's simply being with it. It observes it. It does not seek to escape it, but to transform it. The reason you came here was to transform the world in some way, not to escape it. Otherwise, why come in the first place? It raises energy not to escape, but to empower. To empower yourself, to empower those around you. That's what it is for. Meanwhile, we have the head brain. That comes next, because what it's doing, now we have this powerful mind and all of its ideas to plan. Instead of seeing division, to separating things into their parts, seeing patterns, seeing connections, seeing how things can be brought together. Because when you bring everything together, it allows more things to happen. It allows more purposes to be fulfilled, yours and others. So plans how to bring purpose through creativity into this world. Now, creativity might be writing music, writing books, painting pictures, but it can be any form of expressing what you are inside. It can be building bridges, it can be cooking food, it can be cleaning a house, it can be everything, as long as it's expressing what is creative in you. That spirit in you is very creative. Okay? Purpose is beyond personality and ego. And so the desires, the natural desires of the head brain, because it's always looking out and saying, how do I accomplish the next thing? When it's trying to accomplish spiritual purpose, okay, then looking out and planning out how to do that is fine. It's used in the right way. With no desire, with no planning out for the future, nothing happens. And the goal here is to express ourselves, which means making things happen. But it is not about building the personality or the ego. Its desire is to express that inner purpose, fulfilling why you are here. So we shouldn't be afraid of the head brain and ideas. So many people talk about stopping the chatter in the brain, and there's reasons for that. Number 1, the wrong use of the mind. And number 2, the audience participation, the other influences that move through the mind. But the mind is a brilliant tool for planning things out. and allowing things to happen, okay? And then our gut brain, our body, our physicality allows us to express all of that into the world. So it's important that we strengthen the body to live here and to serve, okay? We do want to meet our personal needs. We have a need for a roof over our heads and food for our bodies, those types of things. So we do need, as part of our purpose, to support our bodies, to support our health, okay? But the difference is that priority, the priority of purpose over accumulation. Things will accumulate as they need to support that purpose, okay? But if the priority is that accumulation, then purpose falls aside, and we find toward the end of our lives that, oh, I'm going to have to try all of this all over again because I didn't do what I needed to do, okay? This is guided by the present moment of the heart when we work in this direction, from heart brain out to gut brain. It is guided by that present moment of the heart, so therefore lives without fear because it is in the present moment. Most of the time lives without fear. And this is the last thing I put on this slide here. Lives without fear beyond immediate responses. The fear response is part of our survival mechanism. And if we need to have a strong body in order to serve, then we need to have appropriate survival responses to things. And fear is part of that. This is where very often we associate a word with bad, like fear with a bad thing. No, it's appropriate when it's in its element, when it is allowing us to respond to our environment. Where it gets inappropriate is when it gets locked into the body and becomes a perpetual thing that is happening. We're not in a fearful moment, but we're still feeling fear. And that's what a lot of us run through all the time, the fight and flight that most of us are in, because we haven't settled into that present moment. And so living in that right way is successful in so many ways for us, partly because we feel the peace and the joy of the present moment. And what is the reason for attracting money, attracting relationships, attracting anything else you might think of as outside yourself as what you want? Because it'll make you happy. Because it'll make you enjoy your life. Well, simply living in the moment allows you to experience those things. You can have all those things, and if you're not in the moment, you will not actually enjoy them. You will be looking for the next dollar, the next person, the next whatever it is that's trying to satisfy you from outside yourself. So living in this direction allows us to really accomplish what we're here to accomplish, and to express what only we can express in the world. Each of us has our own individual design that allows us to express something really unique, and that, more than anything else, is what I want for all of us, is to be able to do that. Now, in case you don't know already, I do have a free app. This is one of the screens in the app. You can get it at 3brainliving.com. That's the link in the footer here. But one of the things that I've done with this app is to build these daily habits. And as you can see, you can get an idea here that the idea is to, are you living your purpose every day? Are you acting, are you doing some kindness, some action for someone else every day? There's some meditations here. So these things are to build heart, then to build brain, and to build body, stretching, moving, strengthening, learning, training the brain, building awareness of the world you're living in. And I add an additional 1 day of peace because, and I'll talk about that more in other videos, I believe that peace throughout our world starts with us individually. So you can see these little icons here, the information icons next to each one. Each one is a little bit better explained, but you can check these boxes on a daily basis, and you can see, what have I been doing over time? What does that look like? Have I been consistent with building my heart, building my brain, building my body, and contributing to peace in this world? So again, this is absolutely free for you to use. There's never an upgrade necessary to use this portion of the app. So check it out at 3brainliving.com and start developing the habits that will help you to live in the right way, to express your highest purpose, and to contribute to this world in the way that only you can. Thank you.